Hello everyone, my name is Ekaterina Andoni and I'm a licensed immigration consultant working at EverNorth, Canada. In today's video, we're gonna discuss a few options that any candidate has whose work permit, whose specifically postgrad work permit expires in 2026. During the video, we're going to explore a few pathways. So the first option would be extension as a bridging open work permit. The second one, switching to the visitor record. The third one is applying under the French mobility program. And the last one, if you decide to go back to studies and switch back to the student status. So these are going to be four things that we're going to, dive into. And at any point, if, for example, going back to studies, right, is not really like an option for you, you can just skip that part and move, let's say, to the visitor record part. So we're gonna provide the timestamps for the video, so it's gonna be easier for you to navigate and skip the questions that you may already know or not really interested in, and just listen to the parts that applies to your case. So if we're gonna start, that's gonna be with the statistics, and I have here, some printed data that's gonna hopefully help you out in terms of the understanding the immigration patterns and the picture that we're currently looking at. So according to the RCC, hundreds of thousands of the postgrad work permits gonna expire this year in 2026 at some point. And as per the current data, the express entry pool, consisting with people who are eligible to get invitation to apply under the Canadian experience class specifically, is sitting above 234,000 of candidates. So you can imagine how big the pool is. And the Canadian experience class draws, just the general draws under this category, have cut off between 507 and 515. So you see the draws are kind of high. So if your score sits below that, the default plan of being in the pool and just getting invitation to apply right away during 2026 may not work out. So you need to think of alternative pathways, how to extend your stay here if that's something that is important to you and you don't want to leave Canada and wait for the specific draw from outside. Okay, so we're gonna dive into the option 1, which is bridging open work permit. This would be relevant for candidates who already have their express entry profile in the pool. So you're already eligible, you already have your active profile, everything is good, all of your test results, IELTS or CELPIP or TCF, everything is valid, right? Like no problems here. Your Canadian education is confirmed, your WES is done, like everything is in order, right? Because if any of these things expire, your profile will be out of the pool. So that's an important thing to consider. If we talk about the English test results or French test results, they are valid for 2 years from the day when you pass the test. So just be mindful. So maybe even today your profile is active because your results are valid, but they will expire in 3 months. So if you want to maintain your profile to be active in the pool, you need to do some prep work, book another test to make sure you have the new results before the current one expires, so you keep your profile active. As for the educational credentials report, usually it's valid for 5 years from the date when you obtain it, so also just make sure you have enough validity period. So this option of bridging open work permit would be relevant for those who have active express entry, get the invitation to apply while the work permit that you currently hold is still valid, and you manage within that window of time while your current permit is valid. So you manage to get an ITA, submit the PR application, the complete file as soon as possible, and from the moment when that application is received by the IRCC and you have the official submission confirmation, everything is ready and your current permit is still valid, that's the time when you are eligible to apply for the bridging open work permit. Its name is because it works like a bridge. Basically, you need this bridge to wait until the IRCC processes your PR file under express entry, and you have that 1 year of the validity of the new permit just to allow the IRCC time to process your PR. Usually that's enough time, but in case something happens, IRCC processes your profile a bit longer, you have the right to extend this bridging open work permit for additional 1 year. earlier, just based on the fact that, you don't have the final decision on the PR yet. But once again, it works only for the applicants who already have submitted their PR. And I see confusion all the time. People think that if they have the profile in the pool, it means they're already eligible. No, this is a big mistake. You need to get the invitation to apply, already apply for the PR, and only after that application is done, you become eligible for the bridging open work permit. The next scenario, the next option is to switch from the work permit to the visitor record. People tend to think it's, very quick and easy, and people tend to just submit their application just for it to be there, just in case. I usually do not recommend doing so because, even though it's quick and easy in comparison to the other applications, still, it needs to be used wisely, right? Because if you submit without specific grounds why you need to extend your stay as a visitor, I tend to see that IRCC officers are a bit skeptical about it. Because just imagine yourself being the officer, right? You've studied here in Canada, you got your postgrad work permit, so you stayed at least, 1 year studying, at least 1 or 2 years working, depending, of course, on the length of your permit and all of the conditions apply. So by the time your current postgrad work permit expires, you've already been in Canada for at least 3 years, at least 4 years, again, depending on your circumstances. And now all of a sudden you request the visitor permit. So you see why it might not be the best option, because the officers might tend to say, guys, you've been here enough, you've stayed inside the country enough. So it's also a valid, doable application, but it needs to be wisely in terms of whether you actually need it or not, and what grounds you use to support your application, why actually you need to stay longer as a visitor, right? To convince the officer that, your visitor record application should be granted and it should result in the positive decision. So who can benefit from it? I can say you can safely apply, everything should be more or less okay, if we can say it this way. For example, if your current express entry score, you have a valid profile, everything is fine. If your current score is within the range of the draws that have been conducted previously, for example, the last draw, let's say the general one was 407, and your score is around 410, or it's not very realistic because we're not within, the digits starting from 4. Usually it's more than 500 score. But anyways, you got the idea, right? Let's say the CRS score that they're targeting is, 514, and you have 510. So you sense that, next draw might be yours, so you need a bit more time just to wait until that favorable draw happens. This would make sense, right? To explain to the officer that, I'm waiting for my draw to happen. Again, not the ideal situation, because it might not be the best, valid reason for the IRCC. Maybe you have the better reason. Maybe you have the concert booked in a few months, or you have an important event to attend, in a few months. Maybe your best friend is getting married here in Canada and you want to support them during this life-changing event. So we need to see what would be the best valid reason for your stay, but deep inside, you need to understand that if your CRS score in the express entry is good enough and you really can get the draw, that's when it can be wise to use the visitor record as a bridge, to allow you to stay in Canada and wait then to apply for the PR. Another way when it can be relevant is if you have your provincial nominee program already in process, right? And you just wait to hear back from the province to be able to apply for the PR. In this case, you're not really yet eligible to get the work permit based on the nomination because you don't have the nomination yet, right? But you need some time to allow the province to finish processing your application. In this case, also, the visitor record would be the perfect option because you can clearly explain to the IRCC that you need some time to wait for the nomination results, and that's why the visitor record should be granted, just to allow you to get this status before you hear back on the nomination application. The third option would be extending the work permit based on the French mobility program. And I always promote this program because I just see that either people don't know about it because it seems to be very underestimated, not really used, yeah, or they think it's, the conditions are unattainable, let's say, and it's not even worth trying. And so I will try to convince you that this path is worth exploring, and that's why. So technically, for you to qualify as the applicant, you need to reach the language test proficiency at the level 5 in French. So back then, a long time ago, IRCC used to ask you to pass at a CLB level 7, but you see, they lowered the bar, so a lot more applicants can qualify, and now they're not even asking for you to pass at that level all parts of the test. Now only listening and speaking are, 2 parts of the test that are being assessed. So in this case, it's kind of hard to learn French from ground zero. It's not the easiest language, everyone knows that, but depending on how much time you dedicate to it, depending on how much effort you put in, you can clearly, within 6-7 months of active studying, you can clearly reach CLB 5. It's totally doable. I have living proof clients who did it, who benefited from the French mobility program, who are now successfully, working, have their work permits, all because of this program. So it's all doable, I can assure you, but it needs effort from your end. And if you think about it, it's I would say it's great that the bar was lowered and now they're specifically asking for listening and speaking, because if you've ever, tried to study French, in my opinion, writing would be the most complicated, and good news, it's not assessed for this application. So just for listening and speaking, I'm sure you can reach the desired results. So this is what's required from the applicant. It doesn't mean that you don't need to do anything else and just French is required. That's not true as well. You need to still meet the criteria of any other, regular employer-specific work permits, meaning that you need to have, some education that's relevant to the position that the Canadian employer is offering to you. You need to have previous work experience within the same or relevant field. Also, in comparison to the job offer from your Canadian employer, but the main spotlight for sure is on your French test results. So that's what's required from your end. From the employer, because this won't be the open work permit allowing you to work for everyone. You will be able to work only for the employer who supported this application. So only for that specific Canadian employer. And important note here, this employer needs to be actively operating basically in any province outside of Quebec. So people who desire and who want to stay in Quebec, unfortunately, they can't benefit from this program. So you need to target and explore the options, like employment options outside of Quebec to benefit. So from the employer, which is good, they don't need to do any LMIA applications. They don't need to pay a lot of fees for LMIA government fee, which was, $1,000 per position. So it was quite high and quite a burden for the employer. For this application, no basically advertisements are needed, like nothing LMIA-like, if you know what LMIA means. They are exempt from that. They do a quick application to the IRCC. They do need to pay the employer compliance fee, but it's not even comparable to what they were about to pay for the LMIAs. So it's only a fraction of the price. It's currently $230 for one application from their end. They fill out the forms. They explain why they want to hire specifically this candidate. They pay that compliance fee. They provide you with the offer of employment number that's generated through the submission of this small application, and basically you're good to go. Right, so you have your package, the employer gives you the job offer and this offer of employment number, and basically that's all from their end. There is no need for them to meet certain criteria in terms of the revenues or in terms of how many Canadians or employees in general they need to have. None of that, just as simple as that. So that can be a good option to extend the work permit for you as well, to explore that pathway. The last option would be going back to studies. it might not be suitable for everyone, because if you've studied previously in Canada, you know that studying is not easy. In this case, yeah, for some people, they might say like, no way, I'm not going back to school. It was super hard. But if you're someone who we're not afraid of going, back to school, doing all of the assignments, quizzes, and everything, this might be a good option. Why I like it? Because additional educational credential, right? Once you complete the program, gives you additional scores towards express entry. That's one benefit. The other one is you get a chance to work for any employer during the time of studies. When you are an active student enrolled in an eligible institution on a study permit, all good, you are entitled to work part-time for any employer that you want. So in comparison to the visitor record option that we discussed previously, where you have no ability to work in Canada legally, right, while you are on a visitor record, a study permit allows you to work if that's something that is really important for you, to keep working, to keep getting income. But it comes at a price. The price would be that you need to really study, submit everything. You need to be in good standing, because all of the colleges and universities, they need to report to the IRCC students that are enrolled but do not study and are not going to school actually. So in this case, it's very important that you do attend your courses, do everything that you're supposed to, and having the benefit of studying working part-time on the side. So this might be the good opportunity. Here, the important part is that you need to check the timing, right? Because if that's the pathway that you're going to be taking, you need to check exactly your desired program. When does it start? Do I have the right amount of time on my current work permit to get the letter of acceptance, to get all of my paperwork done, everything? Because you need to submit the application while your current status is still valid, like while your work permit is still valid. Because you cannot be out of status and apply for the study permit. Your study permit will be refused right away, so there is no point in that. In this case, you need to make sure the desired program that you're gonna enroll into, like you have enough time to get the letter of acceptance and do all of the steps. So if that's something that's interesting to you, just do your research in advance, what documents you need for enrollment, and all of that to apply on time. That would be, I would say, the easiest option, right? Because it doesn't ask you to have any connections with the employer. It doesn't ask you for any specific French test results. If you've studied previously, you already have, the confirmation that you passed your academic IELTS. So most likely you already have the majority of the documents for this application. So that's a good option to consider as well. And this is something that can be discussed, in between spouses. For example, I had clients who, for example, one spouse was on study permit initially, and the entire family got their permits while the main applicant applied for the postgrad work permit, and it's the time when the postgrad is basically expiring. So in some cases, and I had families like that, the other spouse who never studied, went back to school. So it was an important move, because not all of the burden of studying is on one spouse. It might be wise and applicable to your case as well. So your wife or husband goes to school now and you get an open work permit. Of course, conditions apply depending on the program, field of study, and all of that, but generally speaking, if everything is done correctly, your spouse might benefit from an open work permit and continue supporting the family while you go to school. And in the end, if no PR application during that time, you can still benefit, the entire family can still benefit. Also, conditions apply as always, but potentially you can benefit from one more postgrad work permit, but based on the studies that you currently finished. So you can basically have two sets of postgrad work permits, one because you were the main applicant previously and you went to school, now your spouse has completed studies and the family gets the postgrad work permits based on that. So it might be a good option to consider as well. And the logical question in the end would be like, how do I choose the best pathway? I would say there is no general rule what you need to follow to get the best answer, because every case is unique. It depends what you studied, like what's your current situation, do you have enough points to get invitation to apply, what's your level of French at the moment, how much time is left on your work permit. So it all depends on these factors. I would start from checking what's your current score with the Express Entry profile, like where you stand. If you're close to the current draws, I would say, yeah, visitor record might be, an option for you. If you're far from, the CRS score that was recently announced, and you feel like, yeah, you might need like half a year or a year to improve your situation, to improve English test results or study French or whatever, most likely going back to school would be a good option for you. It would allow you to have more time to get, additional points for education, all of that we discussed. So it's very unique. And here at EverNorth, we provide consultations, we check all of the possible options for you specifically, we check your documents and curate the strategy specifically for you. So feel free to fill out our assessment form and book the consultation to discuss it, one-on-one, exactly what's suitable for you. So if this video was helpful, we hope that we see you as our client, you book the consultation with us. Hit subscribe and like the video if you liked it, and we will talk to you more with the next videos. Drop us a comment if you have a specific theme you want us to discuss in our next video. We're going to take into account that as well.